Now, I was I was reluctant to do this. However, I believe I have no other alternative. During Black Reconstruction, political paramilitary groups like the Knights of the White Camellia, the Red Shirts, and the Ku Klux Klan were created to prolong instilled fears of white supremacy in black people. Some could consider the intended plan of these groups has been fulfilled in perpetuity. These groups all have democratic origins and petrified blacks to not vote or vote Democrat. Do not own firearms because you're savage, and to pass on generational fear of white dominance. Which is why you always hear people talk on Negroes hollering, oh, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. That's why. Not only did these paramilitary groups succeed in their mission, but it has also been put in never ending fruition, which, with such fine tuning, blacks have picked up the mantle of terrorizing their own, lambasting their own, arresting thought that isn't monolithic, and championing maladaptive behaviors and policies. They say, I heard this a long time ago, but they say when the oppressed becomes powerful, they then become a worse oppressor. This was bona fide after exiling Russian monarchs, much like it is now in the black community. The Invisible Empire has risen out of the ashes and is now a group of self imposing violence. The Chocolate Klan. The Chocolate Klan. This coterie is far worse than other paramilitary groups hitherto, and it achieved causing more pandemonium than any other past or contemporary paramilitary group. Unfortunately, because of this rendition of the Invisible Empire, rights afforded blacks are now, like then, being assuaged. Think about it. Black people could not vote for could not vote the Republican ticket for fear of death from the Ku Klux Klan and other paramilitary groups. This was because Democrats knew that if the newly freedmen were able to freely vote, not only would that keep a unified government in office, because of course Gramercy votes from the freshly freed, it could very well lead to a race amalgamation in the upper class, and white folks weren't having that shit. They knew they wanted to keep their upper class as freshly white as possible. However, now our plight is more self-inflicted than hitherto. Similarly, the emergence of the Ku Klux Klan, similarly to the emergence of the Ku Klux Klan, the Chocolate Klan is structured to keep alive the former's agenda. As hitherto, according to Black conventional wisdom, blacks who vote must do so for Democrats, because that's the only acceptable vote for blacks. Of course, without being made fun of or lambasted or accosted, without reason. We antecedently uh, cast a vote that is diametrically opposed to our overall beliefs. However, if you do not vote a straight ticket, you are by your own people called things like coon or sellout or Uncle Ruckus, etc. Furthermore, other favorite ad hominems by blacks, two other blacks are Uncle Tom and sellout. What is dejecting is the fact that Chocolate Klan claverns are upholding old savior fare uh, from Reconstruction. If you vote, it better be for a Democrat. You for if you vote Republican as a black person, you will be excommunicated, made fun of, attacked, and even in some cases murdered. Essentially, the Chocolate Klan is using the same tactics that stoked fear in blacks during Reconstruction. Remember, I believe a few months ago, of course, downtown Manhattan, a 70-year-old black man was attacked and knocked out in a busy train station by Chocolate Klan members for simply wearing a MAGA hat. He got no help from other black people. As a matter of fact, a black woman who was young enough to be his daughter said that's what he gets for supporting Trump. This is the only thing that's in the mind of this black person. Additionally, for simply being a conservative could bring question to your blackness. You can face disownment from your family and lose friends. Hell, Don Lemon, Grand Cyclops of the Chocolate Klan, stated in a show. He stated because his friends, because friends of his support Trump, they are no longer his friends. This is the mindset. He and people like him constantly speak of how blacks are losing their rights, whilst they are the very same individuals who say, if you don't exercise your rights to my satisfaction, you you cannot be my friend. This is crazy. Furthermore, in the black community, there's a real fear of retribution for not abiding by de facto laws of said community. One is being, of course, black conservative, black Republican, whatever. Two is snitching, and three is going against black women, regardless if what they do is wrong or right. Regardless, these things can win you a visit from the Chocolate Klan. Of course, because these have probably got brothers and cousins and blah blah blah. And you could win. This could win you a visit from the Chocolate Klan, like in Reconstruction from the Ku Klux Klan when you mess with a white woman. Now, harkening back to snitching, an example of how life-threatening it is. weeks ago, on a sunny day, on a sunny afternoon, on 225th Street, I believe, a man was shot to death in front of a myriad of people waiting for the bus. When police came, they asked if anyone saw anything. They all saw the murder, yet nobody witnessed who did the murder. Now, you have a clavering of the Chocolate Klan popping up like dandelions, opining how they are being gunned down by cops while at the same time not caring that ham bone guns down skillet. Lastly, considering the latter, with all the maladaptive behaviors going on, that grand gollywogs like Al Charlatan, Jesse Jackson, Jim Claverne, and Pastor William Barber II, I believe. Could be William Barber II, William Barber III. One of them shines. I mean, one of those brothers, and other Negro pastors, though in a burning wood pile. They always seem to have a predilection for making the least important variables that harm the black community into the most important. They have a knack for doing that shit. However, when it comes to law-abiding black folks protecting themselves, like olden times, they agree with black code decrees. You know, black savagery permits them from exercising their Second Amendment right. No, this is what they believed in back, right after 1865. Now, remember the city of Chicago versus McDonald case? And an old black war veteran was terrorized by Chocolate Klansmen and was able to protect himself with a firearm. The NAACP called him a sellout, and which is sad, they completely turned the Chocolate Klansmen into playful teenagers. However, these grand gollywogs believe they are too important not to have armed guards, while the average blacks are not important enough to exercise their Second Amendment. I mean, this is crazy, folks. It's crazy. Additionally, it's a good one. I gotta go smoke this shit soon. Additionally, it was Grand Gollywogs of the Invisible Hershey Empire who took money to preach to blacks how the most merciful thing a mother in abject poverty could do is abort a pregnancy, and they're still preaching that sentiment today. Nowadays, the normal pablum is it's a woman's right to choose. However, it shouldn't be. Given the fact that in the 1990s, we as black people were, believe 13.4% of the population, and now in 2020, we have declined to 12.6%. It is clear that for one, black women need to halt defending something that was birthed from the chicanery of a racist white woman. And for two, the black community should stop lambasting other blacks for their difference of opinion. Because it could be their mind that causes upward mobility. And last, but not least. Stop killing one another, man. For real, stop killing one another. You, you're doing you're doing more harm than any paramilitary group could have ever dreamed of doing. And every time blacks speak of police injustice, it makes us look like utter hypocrites. Because you don't care. You don't care when hand bone, guns down, skillet. Don't care about that. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what are the comparable factors of all these paramilitary groups? Well, I'll tell you, Lance. I'll tell you. The the Knights of the White Camellia, the Ku Klux Klan, the red shirts, the Invisible Hershey Empire of the Chocolate Klan, all have Democrat origins. Also, these groups exist. These groups' existence is denied by the left. Additionally, all are structured in a way that leadership cannot be proven. Dandelions of Claverns are shooting up like BLM, our Black Party, whatever that is, through emotional prestidigitation. These groups are able to convince black people that they are fighting for a black agenda. However, they are merely marionettes of the Democratic Party. And when you donate to them, you donate to Act Blue, essentially to Democrats. Furthermore, another comparable factor is their mission, which is to keep blacks from voting, or if they do, it best it is best to cast a Democrat vote. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Uh, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell while you're at it. That's it. That's all, folks.